Institutional interest in crypto is higher than ever. Many major funds all around the world are becoming more and more interested in investing in crypto. And in today's video, I'm going to give you the inside scoop as to what these funds are buying. Essentially, what I did is I've spent the last 20 hours going through all the major institutional research reports from the likes of Coinbase, JP Morgan, Fidelity, VanEck, and Binance, and many, many more to pinpoint the narratives, the coins that these funds and VCs are the most bullish on, and most importantly, where they anticipate crypto is going in 2024. So by the end of this video, you would have saved hours of time going through all these research reports yourself, and you'll have a summary of pretty much what all the big funds and institutions are looking at buying and are looking at trading and are bullish on in 2024. And I must tell you, some of the findings from these reports were absolutely mind-blowing, and I actually found that it gave myself a great sense of direction as to what narratives and verticals and coins to look into in terms of buying at the moment in preparation for what could be a much bigger cycle, but also how to set my portfolio up to take advantage of mid to longer term trends, which is also super important. So if you love content like this, research driven, deep analytical content, make sure to click the subscribe button down below and turn on that post notification bell so you don't miss an upload. Here on this channel, I talk about all sorts of things like crypto, airdrops, trading opportunities, sectors, altcoins, etc. to help you succeed in the market. I do my best to give you the best crypto alpha, and of course I put a lot of time into these videos, so it would mean so much if you hit that subscribe button and click that bell. And if you do want to support the channel, you can also sign up for BitGet using the link in the description, and you will also get a $10 airdrop just for signing up, and you'll also get access to a $1,000 welcome pack. All you need to do to claim this welcome bonus of up to $1,000 is sign up using the link in the description and then completing basic tasks like identity verification, depositing for the first time, and trading for the first time. And one other cool thing you can do is on the reward center, you can spin the lucky wheel in order to win US dollar and lucky coin prizes. So if you are interested in that airdrop or the $1,000 welcome pack or both, you can use the link in the description below to sign up for a BitGet account and of course in turn support the channel. So without further ado, let's get into this video. It's absolutely alpha packed. We're going to go through all of the institutional reports. I'm going to give you my findings. So I'm going to summarize each report to give you the verticals that each institution is most bullish on. And then at the end of the video, we are going to summarize the overall overarching trends from all of these funds. So without further ado, let's get stuck in. The first fund that I want to go through is Messari. This was one of the longest and most tedious research reports to go through, but it was well worth it because a lot of the information there was super interesting. Something I'm also going to do throughout this video is not just tell you what they said, but also give you my opinion and a little bit more nuance as to what they said. So Messari's crypto thesis for 2024 is that Bitcoin will likely outperform other asset classes. I would agree. They're obviously comparing that to things like stocks, gold, and real estate. They said, while Ethereum's tech continues to improve, the bull case for ETH is not as strong as Bitcoin. I actually disagree. I'm going to do a video on Sunday actually as to why I'm more bullish in the short to medium term on Ethereum as a trade versus Bitcoin, largely hinging around the seasonality of the ETH BTC pair, but stay tuned for that video. They said, with growing developer interest, Sol has become a hub for apps in DePIN, payments, and DeFi, and I would also agree with that. We're seeing lots of new applications launching on Solana across a variety of super interesting verticals. Now, the narratives that they were most bullish on was one, DePIN. They said its potential growth spans from 10 to 100x in sectors like cloud solutions and GPUs. So obviously DePIN is decentralized infrastructure to provide computing power for, let's say, AI, gaming applications, etc. This is one of the verticals I'm most bullish on. If you watch my sector video where I outlined the narratives I'm most bullish on, DePIN was at the top of my list. So I 100% agree with Messari there. They said decentralized science and decentralized social media were also interesting verticals. I agree they're interesting. They're probably not at the top of my list, but they are clearly bullish on these for good reason. They also state that they're bullish on AI, saying that it will integrate with crypto solutions like micropayments and smart contract execution. It's actually super interesting. I haven't seen many micropayment solutions for AI. Currently, the existing crop of AI protocols are more so to be treated, I think, like AI proxies rather than bona fide AI crypto synergistic bets. But I think over time, as you guys know, I'm very bullish on the AI sector. We are going to see some of the intersections come to fruition, and I hope we can get some quality AI dApps, because obviously AI is the future, whether you like it or not, and there are going to be crypto intersections which yield a lot of fruit, in my opinion. The final two bullish narratives that Messari states is that liquid staking and restaking solutions still have a lot of upside, with the ETH staking ratio still at 24%. An interesting thing to note here is that a lot of other chains like Cardano, Solana, etc., they have staking ratios of closer to 50%. So that's 100% right. The amount of growth still left in ETH staking as a bona fide way for you to get secure yield in crypto is super attractive, and I think it could definitely keep increasing and should keep increasing. And I think, making content on liquid staking derivatives last year when the staking ratio was 18-19%. It's already up to 24%. I think it'll push higher to 30 to 40%. And clearly that's going to lead to more liquidity in liquid staking solutions, thus more TVL in restaking solutions. And that's one of the contributing factors as to why restaking was one of my top narratives in that video, which I'll link in the description, by the way, for 2024. And then the last thing that they noted was wallet infrastructure being a critical growth area. And I would 100% agree. I think that is going to be one of the big changes of this cycle, where we're going to see a huge focus on retail accessibility to crypto and the user interface and user experience in crypto, which I think is absolutely essential. I still think we're way off where we need to go in terms of usability. We're getting better, but the simple MetaMask / seed phrase solution right now is probably not the end game solution. And I know all these infrastructure players are working towards making these applications more usable. Let's get into fund number 2. There are 10 funds in today's video, by the way, which is Coinbase. Coinbase has a macro outlook for 2024, stating that institutional focus will be on Bitcoin in Q1 and Q2, with strong catalysts like the halving and ETF. I would also add Ethereum to that list. I know these guys are more bullish on Bitcoin than ETH, but I'm not fading ETH either. I think that a potential Ethereum ETF could be a very strong narrative, and they do acknowledge this Ethereum thesis by saying that L2 rollups such as Arbitrum, Optimism, etc. will increase the overall ETH pie without siphoning users. Interesting point. They also say that Sol will lead the Alt L1s, followed by newer chains like Say and Celestia. I also think that is kind of where the trend is going at the moment. Retail really likes chains like Celestia because of the ability to stake, earn airdrops, and it's this kind of positive flywheel effect, and the Sol community is super strong as well. So I completely understand the thesis there. Onto their macro insights. They say that a US recession is unlikely, but USD dominance will reduce globally. I would probably agree with that, but I'm not a macro expert. These guys are. Next, they say crypto might benefit due to a weaker US dollar trend and Fed cuts in Q1 of 2024. US still lags in regulatory clarity, but the ETF is a promising first step, which I would 100% agree with. Their bullish narratives for the altcoin market is real-world use cases like RWA, Deepin, and gaming, which are already showing signs of disruptive growth. The numbers are absolutely mind-boggling. I also went through them in that sector video that I'll link in the description. They say that roll-ups and wallet technology are key focus areas for mass market adoption. 100% agree. You'll actually notice an overlapping theme here from Messari's thesis, with wallet infrastructure being a key point of interest, and then Coinbase's market outlook also suggesting that wallet technology is a key area for mass adoption, and roll-ups clearly do make these wallets and payments more accessible due to lower gas fees as well, especially ZK roll-ups, which also add privacy-preserving elements alongside scalability. And the final point they have in terms of narratives they're bullish on is that validated middleware solutions like restaking and DVT have significant potential. Once again, another overlap with Messari, highlighting the promising potential of restaking. Let's go on to VanEck now, another big player that has entered the crypto market primarily through ETFs, with the Bitcoin spot ETF being their primary foray into the institutionalized crypto market, and of course the ETH spot ETF potentially on the horizon as well. So they made a few predictions for the next year in crypto. Let's go through these predictions now and I'll give you my opinion. The first prediction they make in their report is that Bitcoin will reach an all-time high on November 9th. This is a pretty bold prediction actually from VanEck, actually naming a date that Bitcoin could potentially hit an all-time high. Exactly 3 years from the last all-time high. Interesting. Despite a strong performance in 2024, ETH will lose market share to chains like Sol. Do I think this will happen? I think it might lose aggregate market share, but one-to-one comparatively with Sol, I'm not totally convinced it will lose market share. If you do look at DeFi Llama at the moment, TVL-wise, it hasn't lost that much market share. It's been relatively stagnant and still has the majority, at least in the ETH L2 ecosystem of TVL. Transaction volume and other metrics are a different story though, because lower gas fees on other chains obviously bode well for those sort of metrics versus Ethereum, which is more of, a wealth effect chain where more people are comfortable stacking and staking huge amounts of TVL. The next point they make is that the stablecoin market cap is projected to cross $200 billion with MiCA regulation, yield-bearing coins, and increased trading. Obviously, the stablecoin market cap increasing is bullish for crypto. More stablecoins equals more liquidity, and it's overall strong for the market. They say NFTs, this was a really interesting point, by the way, NFTs will come back stronger with volumes going to games, top ETH NFTs, and ordinals. So NFTs kind of been in the back burner for quite some time now. They haven't really had a comeback like a lot of the altcoin market has. I would agree at some point we do see a resurgence. I don't know if it'll be the same kind of, projects launching NFT hype cycle that we saw in 2021, but I think definitely NFTs that solve a clear market need and have utility will be the next phase for NFTs. So think loyalty programs, doing governance for community activities. NFTs to stake, I think, is another very interesting trend. Soul-bound NFTs. So NFTs, I'm super bullish on as a vertical, but just because I'm bullish on NFTs doesn't mean that you should go out and ape into every random NFT project. I still do think that hype NFT phase is over in terms of what we saw then with just PFPs. I think it'll be a more utility-based run for the next NFT run, which is exciting because I like trading on fundamentals more than the intangibles. It's actually harder to trade on intangibles a lot of the time. The final 2 points they make are at least one blockchain game will hit the first 1 million plus user milestone, directly benefiting gaming infrastructure like IMX and WAXP. Their last point is DePIN and remittances will lead to real-world use cases and drive adoption. These are 2 verticals I'm extremely bullish on. Gaming and DePIN, 2 of my most bullish verticals in crypto right now. I think it would be amazing to see a crypto game hit that 1 million plus user milestone. I think we are on the precipice of these big crypto games launching. They had their major funding a couple of years ago. I think we're now finally going to see some of these games start to launch. So that is super exciting. And DePIN, you guys know that I'm pretty bullish on that as a vertical. Now on to Fidelity. One of the big players, one of the biggest asset managers in the world. Let's see what Fidelity has to say in their report. Now, I went through the Fidelity report, and it's less focused on altcoins. They're clearly more of a macro analyst. And what they covered here was the 3 factors which they state as having the most influence over the crypto market at this current time. So we'll break down these 3 key factors. They say that right now, interest rates, the Bitcoin halving impact, and the success of the ETF are the 3 biggest factors driving the crypto market. So the first factor they point out is that lower interest rates are good for Bitcoin. So rate cuts could potentially bode well. As you can see in previous times of low interest rates, that's when Bitcoin has really soared in terms of price appreciation. I would say that global liquidity is more of a correlated constituent versus interest rates. However, interest rates certainly do factor in to overall market sentiment. But I would definitely be looking at global liquidity more so than interest rates in terms of correlation. They also think that the Bitcoin halving, although clearly a bullish catalyst for Bitcoin historically, won't have the same effect as previous halvings due to the fact that on percentage terms, the impact of the supply halving will not affect Bitcoin's price as much as previous cycles because proportionately, this is a smaller halving. And yes, that is true, although I still think the halving has a massive impact. It is true that over time, there are diminishing returns. And that's why you see pretty much every cycle, Bitcoin's explosion to the upside is smaller and smaller as price increases. So we're probably not going to see like a 10x after the Bitcoin halving like we saw in 2013. We will probably see more of a slow yet steady grind upwards. And I actually think the Bitcoin spot ETFs are definitely more of a factor now when you have those consistent inflows coming into crypto, but over a longer time horizon. What a lot of people expected for some reason was, as soon as the Bitcoin ETFs come, the price is going to skyrocket. I disagree with that. The impact of the Bitcoin spot ETFs are structurally important long-term in terms of the new inflows that the crypto market can harness. In the short term, it was never going to cause this sudden huge rally in price like the narrative was being built by a lot of creators out there. That's completely false. Even if you look at the gold ETF, when that first got approved on spot markets, it wasn't until a year later that gold really started rallying. So I would say people tend to overestimate the impact of the ETFs in the short term and underestimate the impact of the ETFs in the long term. So that's why I'm definitely building my portfolio, at least on the Bitcoin side, with an extremely long time horizon. I have it as a personal goal of mine this year to stack a lot more Bitcoin, and that's something I'm going to talk about in my video on Sunday. I'm going to go through my strategy for stacking more Bitcoin in 2024, because that is one of my big personal goals. It's to stack more Bitcoin. I have a number in mind that I want to hit, and then I want to lock it away on a ledger. And that's my pretty much retirement sorted for life. I genuinely am that bullish in Bitcoin as an asset that I believe if you can stack enough, you'll pretty much be set for life. But of course, if you don't have the capital to stack huge amounts of Bitcoin, as a lot of you may not, altcoins are your best proxy to make that initial wealth. Everyone is in a different position. And I love the altcoins for that reason. You can really speed up your accumulation of Bitcoin, but always aiming to stack more Bitcoin. Now let's go into A16Z. Andreessen Horowitz, one of the biggest VCs in the tech sector in the world. Obviously, they've invested in a lot of crypto protocols as well. They had some very interesting trends that they forecasted. The first point, and I wholeheartedly agree with this point, is that UI and UX will undergo a complete overhaul for mass adoption, aka smart keys and embedded wallets. And I 100% agree. I think that it's so important for UI to improve in order to make it easier for retail to get into crypto. So that is going to be the most important factor, I think, in terms of onboarding new users, because right now crypto is still way too difficult. There's still way too much of a learning curve. Just think about like when you use an iPhone, right? When you set up a new iPhone, it's so easy. Apple's UI makes it so seamless and easy to download and get set up. It should be the same with a crypto wallet. You shouldn't have to think, you shouldn't have to be worrying about where to store your seed phrase and, if you can get hacked and if it's secure. It should just be like using an iPhone. It's seamless. The integration's easy, and that's where we need to get to. I'm sure we're going to get there, but I think this cycle will be the real inflection point when it comes to better UI and UX in crypto. The second point that A16Z anticipates as being a future crypto trend is the introduction of zero-knowledge proofs becoming the standard for authentication. I also agree. ZK, I honestly believe, is one of the biggest developments, most significant developments for crypto this decade. Super exciting. A lot of the protocols that are utilizing ZK, I think, are going to really gain some nice adoption. And a lot of the dApps that are building on top of these ZK chains, I think, are also going to really get some of the benefits that the enhanced security and scalability gives them as applications. So this opens up the door for a whole raft of new applications. The next point is that gamified brand loyalty programs like Starbucks will unlock strong use cases for NFTs. Notice this is the same point that was made earlier. So you do start to see some overlapping trends here. And I think this is the most valuable thing you can take away from this video. And I'll do this at the summary at the end. Take the most bullish narratives from all of the funds in this entire video and align them. When you see multiple big funds talking about the same narratives, pretty sure that's a good indication that you should be listening. This is the big money, and the big money at least has some sway over the market and of course, the amount of investment that's going into a lot of these new protocols. So if they're really bullish, it probably means they're investing as well. And you can see this by some of the flows in terms of new capital being invested sector per sector, which I also went through in the sector video. And the last point here from A16Z is formal methods inspired tooling will improve smart contract security. Now let's get into what Bitwise says. They kept it short and sweet in their report. They predict a Bitcoin all-time high of $80,000 in 2024. Boy, would that be absolutely amazing. I hope you are right, Bitwise. Due to a reduction in supply after the Bitcoin halving. Interesting, because Fidelity's thesis is that the impact of the halving will be lessened this time around. So, contrasting opinions there. Always good to have contrasting opinions. And this is the really interesting part about this video, I think. The next point is that Ethereum's year-on-year revenue growth could double to $5 billion. It could double, but it would definitely take a wider scale bull run. 80,000 Bitcoin is going to do that. Probably going to more than double if we get to 80,000 Bitcoin, but let's see about that. I don't know about that. I would love that to be the case. Let's see. And their last point is that stablecoins will settle more volume than Visa. As you can see in front of you, stablecoins have been gaining ground, and that was one of the major trends also highlighted earlier, that stablecoins, especially with MiCA regulation, are going to be a major player in the crypto market. And the bullish narratives for 2024 is that JP Morgan will launch a tokenized fund, increasing demand for RWAs. Decentralized prediction markets will be popular for sports and event-based betting like elections. It's a very interesting point. Advanced AI assistants like Siri could make crypto payments on our behalf. How good would this be? Saying, and sorry, I'm going to trigger a lot of people with an echo in their house, but hey Alexa, or hey Siri, go send $100 to X wallet. That would be so cool. Be so handy. I would love to do that.
I can only call one person at a time.
I don't know if you just heard that, but my Siri literally is talking to me right now. So probably I caused the same issue for you. I deeply apologize. I'm not even going to cut that out. I'm going to keep that in the edit. Siri, be quiet. I keep triggering my phone. I'm going to keep this in the edit, live stream mode. If you guys watched my OG live streams on Banter and even on this channel, yeah, that was a fun time. I started editing my videos recently, but we'll bring back the live mode. Why not? In future, I actually want to do a lot more live streams, by the way, like fully live shows where you guys can ask questions, we can interact more relaxed, etc. The next is Gemini. The Winklevoss twins, what do they have to say? In their 2024 trend report, they describe 2024 as a watershed year for crypto. They think key events will be driven by the Bitcoin ETF approval and MiCA regulation. Pretty standard in what we have seen across some of the other predictions earlier. But they do say that Bitcoin's ETF approval will open up $36.7 trillion worth of access to capital via the retirement fund market. And this is such an interesting point, as you can see in front of you, right? What this is going to do long term is open the door up for every single pension fund in the US, every single retirement fund to invest 0.5, 1%, maybe even 5% eventually of their clients' assets on their behalf through the stock market into a Bitcoin spot ETF fund. And you can't understate the bullishness of this long term. I mean, the amount of money in total retirement assets keeps increasing, as you can see in front of you. And if Bitcoin could just get a slice of that, that would be a huge potential source of inflow. So that's really bullish. Some of the other bullish narratives that Gemini highlights is the Bitcoin ecosystem, Ordinals, BRC20. That is a vertical I'm bullish on as well. A lot of the new launches coming out are in the BRC20 realm. A lot of infrastructure is currently being developed, and that's because it's still a nascent sector, but nascency equals opportunity. So it's definitely an ecosystem I'm interested in. A couple of really cool new products are coming out in that sector. Next is AI's intersection with crypto being a bullish narrative. I 100% agree. That's why it's one of my top narratives for 2024, but probably even 2025 and beyond, because AI longer term is certainly a very interesting growth vertical. And then digital ownership and accessibility in blockchain gaming. So yet another fund that is bullish on the future of blockchain gaming. It's interesting that they highlight digital ownership and accessibility specifically because I think one of the big trends in blockchain gaming is going to be the distribution of governance to token holders to give them access to ecosystems such as metaverses, ownership of digital assets in-game, etc. One of the recent examples that I've seen that's done a really good job at this of distributing governance to token holders is Vext. Now, essentially what Vext is it's a token which powers the Veloce racing and Veloce esports ecosystem, which is one of the biggest racing syndicates in the world. Essentially, they've got partnerships with a lot of the big F1 teams, and it's essentially an example of a real world entertainment organization distributing governance. So essentially what token holders get access to is a bunch of exclusive events, giveaways, access to prizes, etc. And this is an example of how you can distribute governance to token holders in an ecosystem. So that's super cool. As you can see, it's a community-owned global gaming, sports, and media group. Community-owned being the key. And I'm really excited to see how this continues to develop in the future, because this is really why crypto was invented. It was invented to offer the ability to decentralize companies, to decentralize ownership. And Vext is an amazing example. And what they've been able to build over the last few months, especially with their recent token launch, is absolutely amazing. And actually, their token token is also hitting 2 top 8 exchanges within the next 20 days. So that is very, very cool. They're also getting a lot of traction within the crypto space. They're already trading on Bybit, Gate, Mexi, and Bitmart. And Marco Polo says here that he's hoping that OKX is next. So as you can see here, they've got big ambitions to become the first decentralized global sporting and entertainment group. They've got 37 million plus subscribers, 10 sports and esports teams and brands, and an average viewership of 700 million plus monthly views, as well as a network of 57 owned and rights owned digital media assets, which is absolutely crazy. For all the airdrop farmers out there, you can actually get your hands on the tokens for free just by completing their airdrop. I will leave a link in the description to the airdrop. If you want to complete it, essentially all you need to do is follow them on Twitter, join their Telegram, create an account on the Vextverse, and you can let them know your username when you sign up to claim your tokens. You get 20 Vext gaming tokens as a reward, which is super awesome. So that's a really easy way for you to claim a small amount of tokens, and you can also join their Discord for the latest updates. I'll leave the link in the description. I also want to thank Veloce for being an official partner of the channel. All right, now let's continue with the remaining few funds and their outlook for 2024. And trust me, from here on in, it gets even more interesting. Some super interesting opinions. And then, of course, at the end, we are going to summarize all of this. So for Binance, clearly one of the biggest players in the crypto market, and actually one of the institutions with the best and most comprehensive research team, so I really enjoy reading their reports. They've come out and said that protocol fee growth, and I really do believe they've got some of the best reports in crypto, by the way. Like the Binance research reports are so top tier, probably better than any research. Actually, no, Messari and Delphi do a good job, but definitely up there in the top 5. So they say protocol fee growth indicates a strong demand for DeFi and NFTs, especially on Ethereum and Tron. They think Bitcoin NFTs will continue to grow, steadily outperforming ETH NFTs. I kind of agree. I think ordinals are a massive, massive trend. They say liquid staking and restaking will be a key narrative for DeFi growth. As you can see in front of you, the top 10 fee generators of the year are dominated by L1s and DeFi projects. So this is part of their Binance research report overview. Some of the other predictions that they made is that SocialFi projects like Lens, Farcaster, Friendtech will incentivize Web3 participation. I am on the fence with SocialFi. I don't think it's the most sustainable model. I do prefer decentralized social media to SocialFi. There is a slight difference. I think the sustainability model of the token is the major thing here. We didn't see Friendtech be that sustainable, but it was a great example of the flywheel that can kick off when you have protocols like this. So I think there'll be bullish examples in the future of this being the case. I just don't think right now it's fully ready. Next point, TradFi will plug into Web3 using RWAs and Link's data transfer layer CCIP. Link is extremely bullish. I'm extremely bullish on Link for this reason. You need oracles to power RWA price data, and the only way to get this data is via using a major oracle like Link. So that's a great point Binance makes there. They also say ZK will be the leading backend tech for various use cases, from rollups to data management. As I said, ZK, one of the most bullish developments in the crypto space this decade. Next, we've got Nansen. Let's see what Nansen has to say about their highest conviction sectors for 2024. They suggest a positive outlook for the market with a 10 to 20% chance that inflation could increase again after the Fed pivots. That wouldn't be that good though. I mean, if inflation increases, that means they wouldn't be able to cut rates. They need to probably raise again. I do agree that inflation will probably rise again, to be honest. Like, this is pretty much inevitable. But yeah, it's kind of counteracting their positive sentiment a little bit. They said, keeping the overall outlook in mind, here are Nansen's 4 sectors for 2024. AI plus crypto, AI agents with token incentivization, verification management, accessibility, we've mentioned this before, UI, UX, DEX dominance, and the Bitcoin ecosystem. Nothing entirely new here, definitely reiterating some of the points that we mentioned earlier. You can see here as well, their Bitcoin price predictions in line with the potential result of the Fed rate cuts / rate hikes. Now on to one of the institutions many of you may have clicked on this video to see, and that's JP Morgan. Unfortunately, unlike many of the other funds in today's video, I wouldn't say that JP Morgan came out with the most glowing assessment of crypto in 2024. So like many banks, JP Morgan is relatively cautious about crypto assets this year. Their analyst team predicts the following for 2024. At a 2x increase from range lows, the halving is likely to be priced in and not be a huge catalyst. Well, that kind of lines up with Fidelity as well. Tokenization and RWAs are experimental with significant adoption challenges like fragmentation. Yes, I could get into this. I still think they're both huge growth verticals. I mean, Larry Fink is a real bull on tokenization, but I understand them saying it's experimental. It is. Crypto in general is experimental, though. Their last point is ETH upgrades like EIP will help it outperform BTC. I agree, JP Morgan. I think ETH does outperform BTC. Video coming on that on Sunday. Outlier Ventures now. Their Web3 outlook is that mobile-first applications will act as an onboarding engine. I agree. We've lacked mobile applications and real mobile use cases for quite some time. It's going to be so important to fully realizing the potential of crypto because most people use their mobile. Even I prefer trading on my mobile. So having applications that help this, it's going to be amazing. And there are a few upcoming ones, which I'll talk about in future videos, which I'm looking forward to. They said centralized exchanges will launch custom L2 solutions in the wake of Base's success. I agree. Not all of them will launch tokens, though, just due to regulatory concerns. Web3 projects will start building their IP with physical products and in real-life activations, where it makes sense. I think a lot of it will be tokenized from the real world onto the blockchain, though. Their three bullish narratives are ordinals, tokenized assets, so RWAs, and deep in and AI. I mean, pretty much in line with my favorite sectors as well. So it's always good when my analysis is aligned with some of the biggest funds in crypto. Now, there are 3 funds left. We'll go through pretty quickly through these funds now, and I'll give you the summary at the end. The Block says the crypto market outlook is positive this year, despite high interest rates. They think CBDCs will rise to prominence. Regulatory challenges will persist with Binance being a target. Their most bullish narratives are Solana liquid staking, RWAs, and perp dexes. Perp dexes, first time that's been mentioned today. DeFi has been mentioned a lot, but yes, perp dexes, I think, are definitely still a vertical which could definitely have a lot of adoption. I think DeFi in general is right now seeing a major resurgence, and I'm here for it because it's completely needed. Bitcoin Suisse have a market outlook of saying 2024 is the early stage of the bull market, with the cycle peaking around mid-2025. Bitcoin might hit range lows of 20 to 25 in 2024. Wow, okay. Well, hold on, there's a lot to unpack here. So they say that 2024 is in the early stage of the bull market. Okay, that would be amazing. Peak 2025, that's actually a bit later than some of the other analysts have suggested, but I'm here for it. More time to accumulate, amazing. But they think Bitcoin will hit lows again at 2025. If this is the case, that is the biggest gift ever. If that happens, biggest gift ever. Buy. I mean, always keep some stables on the side. I'd be pretty depressed in the moment, but I would be buying like a crazy person. Final point. Peak cycle valuation is predicted to be around 15 trillion to 20 trillion. Hold on. we're at a couple trillion now. 15 trillion by 2025. What are you smoking, Bitcoin Suisse? I hope you're right. This is the best scenario ever. Not only are we getting, according to Bitcoin Suisse, a dump to 20 to 25K, but then we are getting a monumental 7x. That would be amazing. Oh, they're using logarithmic charts. All the logic goes out the window. No, I'm kidding. So what are their bullish narratives? ETH rollups, 100% agree. Institutional staking and restaking, agree on restaking as probably being the biggest growth sector. I do think it's this version of last cycle's DeFi protocols. It's kind of giving you the ability to earn that extra yield that the market is hungry for during a bull market. Final point, Bitcoin ecosystem is set to explode with ordinals. Everyone's bullish on the Bitcoin ecosystem. That's why I'm not fading it. For SwissBorg now, their crypto outlook is Bitcoin has strong fundamentals, which could lead to a supply squeeze. Jordy Alexander came on the show and also talked about a supply squeeze. So don't fade Jordy. Don't fade the fact that not only on Bitcoin, but on Ethereum, eventually the weak hands won't be so weak anymore. There won't be anyone to sell. And eventually this was going to lead to a squeeze. Consistent demand through ETFs and institutional demand. Consistent demand for stacking these assets with the debasement of fiat currency alongside the complete refusal to sell at lower prices is going to result in prices going up, aka supply squeeze, especially with an asset like Ethereum, which is also deflationary. Ethereum will function as a foundation chain with L2s and restaking solutions like Eigenlayer, powering smaller chains and dApps. Yes, this is the direction Vitalik and the ETH Foundation has stated that they want to go in. So that'll definitely be happening. And the bullish narratives are AI being a central narrative, DeFi seeing huge growth with perp dexes, another mention of perp dexes, LSDs, another mention of LSDs, and RWA, another mention, many mentions of RWAs. NFTs, especially in Sol, will increase their market share. Lots of people bullish on NFTs as well. So that wraps up the summaries for the individual funds. But now let's get into the summary. What have we learned in today's video? I hope there's been a lot of interesting ear candy for you to take, a lot of interesting thoughts. Maybe it's changed your perspective on some things. But let's now summarize all of the narratives and work out overall what sectors everyone's most bullish on and what the major takeaways are in terms of where we currently sit in terms of the crypto cycle. Before we get into the final summary, I want to give an introduction to one of the new official sponsors of the show, WorkX, who are building the first decentralized job economy to empower both talent and employers without the commercial fees of traditional job listing websites. So what they've actually built is super awesome. It's essentially the internet of jobs, which enables you to find jobs and also list job listings on a decentralized platform. So right now, if you're looking for a job in crypto, you can go to their website, you can search the industry, and you can search any industry you want, but let's select Web3 and blockchain, and you can scroll through and see a bunch of new listings, also with the salaries, so 4K a month, 3.5K a month, 5K a month, 15K a month for a community manager and moderator. There's some lower, lesser work jobs, there's part-time jobs, full-time jobs, all sorts of job listings, as you can see here. Not just in crypto though, across a variety of other industries as well. So you've got AI sector, you've got more traditional marketing sectors, you've got online product infrastructure, all sorts of sectors for a variety of different roles and skill levels. So if you are looking for a job, I recommend checking it out. And also if you are an entrepreneur or you have a business and you want to hire, it's also a very cool platform because it minimizes the burden of commercial fees that your typical platforms would include. The token's also interesting because it factors into the ecosystem, and essentially what it does is it enables payments on the platform, accessibility to the platform, as well as fee distribution, etc. So it's all within one economy, which is decentralized, built using the blockchain, which I think is super cool. And it's an example of an interesting and novel use case for cryptocurrency, empowering an internet of jobs. It's not something you see every day. And how they do this is via decentralized AI job matching, which is very cool as well. So I'll let you check out more details regarding WorkX in the description below if you want to search for a job, list a job, or check out more about their ecosystem. And thank you to WorkX for sponsoring the show. I think you've built an absolutely amazing product that's super, super unique in the space. Now let's get on to my summary of what we have learnt throughout these research report summaries. So on the macro front, it's clear that most funds believe that 2024 will be a positive year for crypto. I mean, it makes sense because a lot of them have exposure, but apart from JP Morgan, who weren't actually bearish, they were just less bullish, pretty much everyone was bullish in 2024 and beyond. They think that the rate cuts will come this year and ultimately push markets higher. A lot of them also think inflation will no longer be a worry. In terms of the sectors they're most bullish on, they're very bullish on the AI sector. They're very, very bullish on the liquid staking sector. That's something I noticed, and I think the ETH staking ratio still has a long way to go. Me personally, I'm even more bullish on restaking, but obviously you need liquid staking tokens to then go and stake it again. That's what restaking enables you to do. Middleware to stake it again, like EigenLayer. ZK proofs are another vertical they're extremely bullish on. I'm always looking for new applications which implement ZK tech. DPIN as well. DPIN and RWA, probably equally mentioned throughout the reports, but clearly there is huge growth potential in the cloud compute and data storage, AI, decentralization, markets, Internet of Things, etc. So super exciting. Of course, you've got Render, Filecoin, Akash, Arweave, but also exciting upcoming protocols like Aethea, which I'm looking forward to, and many more awesome protocols also launching across this vertical. So this is probably my top vertical of 2024, at least alongside RWA. I'm also bullish on AI, more so as a proxy because I think a lot of the protocols just haven't come out yet, but I'm bullish on AI, mid to long term as well. And L2s, of course, lots of interest for L2s. And I think in general, another takeaway is that this cycle is all about making crypto more accessible, onboarding as many new people as possible through improved UI and UX. And I also think ETFs are going to increase accessibility into crypto, especially for pension funds, retirement funds, new marketing campaigns by funds to get new users on board, maybe younger users who are interested in crypto. They're using that to their advantage. And overall, it's increased sentiment in this space. So overall bullish. Everyone's bullish. Lots of exciting verticals. Hopefully this has nailed down some more verticals for you to go out and research a bit further. I'll leave a link in the description below to some of my more in-depth guides on these sectors. And in the future, I'm going to be uploading deep dives into AI, liquid staking, DeepIn, RWAs and more, and giving you my top protocol picks. So if you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button, click that post notification bell so you don't miss an upcoming video. And don't forget, if you do want to sign up for BitGet, there is a link in the description below which will give you access to a $10 airdrop as well as a $1,000 welcome pack and the ability to spin the lucky wheel for daily crypto prizes. I will see you in the next video. Hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Thank you for supporting the content. Peace out.